Hello, I'm Executive Chef Joseph Schutze and welcome to our kitchen. Today I'd like to share with you my procedure and recipe for making a sweet potato galette. This is a fantastic side dish, so good that it can actually serve as an appetizer dish. What is a galette? A galette is a term used in French cuisine for typically a flat, round, flaky crust. Many times you will see with fruit, sometimes vegetables, and in this case, sweet potato. Join me now as I show you how to make this awesome side dish or appetizer if you so choose. To begin, I will take my puff pastry on a lightly floured board, and let's go ahead and gently roll it out a little bit. I want to get it to about 1/8 of an inch thick. Then what I will do is I want to trim a little bit of these edges. I want it to be nice and straight. We are going to cut into rectangles. Now what we'll do is let's cut these into thirds. Okay. Now we'll cut it into half, so we end up with 6 pieces. Next, let's take a fork and go ahead and prick this. This will help prohibit the pastry from puffing up too much. We want to try to keep it, we want it to puff and be flaky, but we don't want it to expand 2 and 3 inches high. Now that we have the puff pastry already pricked with the fork, let's go ahead and transfer it to a sheet pan lined with parchment paper and place it in the refrigerator for about 30 minutes. Puff pastry is a tricky thing to work with. You want it to be cold, but not too cold. If it's too cold, it's brittle and breaks and cracks. If it's too warm and soft, and then it's just doughy and very hard to work with. So it is a little bit of a balancing act. Definitely something where practice makes perfect. Now that our potatoes have come out of the oven and cooled slightly, let's go ahead and start peeling. The whole idea with roasting the potato, you don't want to over roast it. You still want it to be a little under on the center, because then when you slice it and we build the galette, we're going to bake it again. So it will then finish the cooking process at that time. So they are still pretty hot. So what I'll do is I will put these back to the cooler to cool completely for at least another probably 20 minutes or so. Well, now it's time to slice our potatoes. I'm going to take that end off just because I want them to be nice and uniform, so when we shingle them on the puff pastry, they lay a lot nicer. We will slice them. This potato here is a little bit overcooked compared to the other. You can see how it's breaking apart. But as I'm getting closer to the center, you can see it's starting to hold its shape, so this will be a little better. I'm not too concerned about the scrap pieces here. We can just throw that together and make a mashed sweet potato out of that. So if you're wondering why I'm laying these out, what I'm wanting to do is I want them to cool down. So by me shingling them like this, that's going to help the temperature of it to cool down much faster. While the sweet potatoes are cooling down a little more, Let's take our puff pastry that's been chilled. Let's go ahead and brush it, the exterior or the outer edges. Okay. Then next we're going to take spatula and go ahead and take our ricotta cheese. This is ricotta with some salt, salt and pepper, and shallots. So let's go ahead and spread this in the center of the puff pastry, leaving yourself about 1/4 inch or so from the edge. Okay, now that we have our ricotta down, let's go ahead and take our sweet potatoes and then just shingling like so. Now, let's take crumbled goat cheese. Spread it out amongst the top. And now, let's put some sliced chopped almonds. And that is it. We're now ready to put them into the preheated oven, 400 degrees Fahrenheit, for about 17 minutes. You should have a nice golden brown edge where the egg was brushed. Now, while the galette is in the oven, let's go ahead and take a stainless bowl. Let us mix our parsley, chopped parsley, some minced garlic, and a minced red jalapeno. Feel free to use a different type of chili, Thai chili or something, depending on the amount of spice you would like. We'll go ahead and add our extra virgin olive oil, some salt, and a little fresh pepper. Go ahead and mix this well. And we're going to let it sit out until the galettes come out of the oven. This is going to be a sauce for the top of the galette. And you could either brush it or spoon it on a drizzle, whichever you like. Well, there you have my sweet potato galette. Fantastic side dish, and I believe it's even strong enough that it can stand on its own as an appetizer. You have a richness from the butter in the puff pastry. You have flaky, you have sweet, you have spicy, savory, touch of salty. I added an arugula salad to the top with a little extra virgin olive oil, as well as a Forum Cabernet Sauvignon vinegar. If you don't have that, I recommend sherry vinegar. The acid from that helps cut through all the sweetness and the richness. Now, not to mention the parsley, garlic, and red jalapeno. Kind of like a little chimichurri, if you will, but that also adds a lot to it. Definitely another layer of depth to this dish. This also we'll be serving tonight as a side dish to a lamb chop. So we can do a lot of things with this. If you don't want to do sweet potato, feel free to use beets. You could do ones like this with artichokes, olive, a tomato. Pretty much I treat it as it's almost like a pizza. Whatever you can put on a pizza, you can put on this galette. If you like the content that I'm putting out, please subscribe to our channel. Would love to have you on board and be up to date with the latest posts. Thank you very much for joining us. Jött vad jag